Hi, I'm Chuck Lofton, and this is extended weather coverage here on 13 Plus about an upcoming snow system. It's probably going to make quite an impact on central Indiana late this weekend and then into early next week, especially on Monday. You know, early this morning, we did have some cold air moving in back of that storm system that gave some of you some snow and some icy roads, but the real cold and dry air moves in tomorrow, and then we've got another change with heavy snow and sleet moving in here on Sunday. And I know most of you are wondering, where is this coming from? Well, actually, that system has been anchored off of the Pacific Northwest for some days, bringing rain and ice to much of northwest portion of Oregon and Washington. But this is going to move quickly across the Rocky Mountains and then into Indiana as we move on into Sunday. Now, this is a look at Saturday's setup. That deep area of low pressure has a better chance for icing and some higher accumulations by midnight on Saturday, and then this will make a move towards us. So this is a look at Saturday. Here we are with just a cold day tomorrow. Now, as we move on into Sunday, things start to change. The snow starts on Sunday morning. We'll see heavy snow possible in the I-70 corridor, but it will be mixed with a system that will also include maybe a wintry mix, but also sleet or ice that's possible. And what that will do basically is bring down some of those snow amounts. So here's what we're looking at on Sunday. Then I'm going to turn it over to our Matt Standridge, who's going to give us an idea about the details and the timelines. When? Sunday morning through Monday midday. Now what this means is that we're going to see some heavy snow, some ice, some sleet, and it could mix in just south of I-70, so that would really adjust our snow amounts. We may be on the lower side, for instance, in the areas that get the sleet, but that also makes for real icy roads and pretty treacherous driving. You will need both Sunday and then on Monday extra travel time and some emergency supplies in your car just in case. In fact, on Monday, we're aware, of course, that so many school districts are going back to school on Monday, and I do think we will have potential for hundreds of school delays coming here on on Monday, and there's a reason for those delays, and that's the storm. And Matt, you're going to give us an idea of what to look at there.
Yeah, this is going to be a heavy one for us, and it gets real complicated once you're trying to factor in snow and sleet and possibly some freezing rain. When you put everything together, the snowfall total, what you see out your window waking up Monday morning, could get a little bit wonky. But we're going to be watching this warm front really closely. Here at the ground, we're going to be below freezing. But this warm front is going to help create this warm air bubble right above us. And it's that what's taking the snowflakes and possibly turning them into sleet at times. But how big will that air bubble be? Where exactly will it be? We're still working on that forecast. The blue color shows you the snow and the pink shows you more of that sleet and ice. We do think that sleet and ice will start to meander a little bit farther north into parts of central Indiana. This blue hashed area shows you where we think the heaviest snow is going to be, and we do think it's going to be right here at home. So let's take a closer look at some snow and sleet and some ice predictions. When it comes to snow, this is the blue color. We've got good few inches right here across central Indiana. But notice there's a cutoff the farther south you go. That's due to the sleet and the ice that's going to mix in. We're not exactly sure where the cutoff will be. I mean, we're still about 48 hours, give or take, away from the start of this storm. If the sleet is able to push a little bit farther north, that's going to severely cut down our snowfall totals. If you can keep it to the south, that'll keep the snowfall totals high. Then on the flip side, notice how there's a cutoff to the north. You kind of threaded the needle here. To the north, there will probably be some drier air right on the edge of this storm system. So that's why we cut off some of the snow a little bit farther to the north. Now, if that cutoff, let's say the dry air is not too intrusive. Let's say the cutoff's farther north, that'll increase how much snow we see. But if the dry air can move in, that'll also decrease. You see, there's a lot of variables to go into this forecast, and we're looking at them all. Let's talk a little bit more about the sleet, because that could be one of the most impactful parts to what we see and the impacts that we can have from Sunday into Monday, maybe the next couple of days after with some refreezing. This kind of orangey peach color shows you the sleet forecast. We could get up to about a ½ inch of sleet. That's actually a lot of sleet. But here's the thing. Sleet doesn't accumulate as quickly as snow does because it's more granular, almost like sand. If you throw sand on the ground, it just kind of gets in all the nooks and crannies. You may not see enough unless you had enough sand in the first place to throw. Sleet's somewhat in a similar format. Snow can accumulate faster than sleet. So if you get a lot of sleet, that's going to cut down how much snow you would think you would be seeing when you're looking out on your grass, your driveway, or your patio. The best chance of sleet will be south of I-70. I think it's going to get kind of thick there with some of the sleet from Bloomington and Bedford, Seymour, Columbus, but we could even get some around Martinsville and Greenwood and Shelbyville, Greencastle, Rushville, maybe even up towards Richmond too, and then even thicker sleet farther to the south. This would be one of the big variables when we're trying to figure out our snowfall forecast. We'll show you just in a second. Then on top of that, we do have some freezing rain that could potentially hitting parts of Indiana, generally southern Indiana, closer to the Ohio River. That's where the air bubble is going to be bigger, so we think you'd actually melt the snowflake completely, and then once it reaches the ground with below temperatures, below average or below freezing temperatures, that's when you're going to create that glaze. But we could get maybe up to about 1/10 of an inch of ice or so around Lake Monroe, Columbus, and Bedford, maybe 1/4 inch a little bit farther south, maybe up to a ½ inch close to the Ohio River. All right, you put all that together. What do we think maybe we'll see out the window? That's the big question, right? We all open the window, open the door to see what we got there going into Monday morning. We think there's a good chance of 4 to 7 inches across much of the state. Now, you might have seen snowfall totals higher than this when you're looking just kind of all the different data that's out there. We think we're just a little bit lower because of the sleet. However, if we can reduce the sleet, there's going to be a zone right in here, I think right to the heart of central Indiana, Indianapolis, maybe a little bit farther south, where we could get a few more inches than even this range would show. But most Hoosiers, we think in central Indiana, handful of inches or so, give or take. Everyone's going to get something different, and we'll be watching the situation closely. We're still about 48 hours out, so we're going to still be working on this forecast as we get closer. Farther to the north, where you got the dry air, we start to drop 2 to 4 inches, and also farther to the south, 2 to 4 inches. But that 2 to 4 inches, that's a dangerous one because there's going to be a lot of sleet and ice potentially on the bottom of those 2 to 4 inches that would be on the ground. So it is a messy forecast. It is not just snow the whole way. The sleet's kind of adding a wrench to this forecast. But let's put this in perspective real quick. When's the last time we had a situation like this? Let's say just 6 inches or more. The last time we had it was a one-day event back in February of 2022. It's 2025 now. So we're talking just about 3 years ago since we even had a snowfall forecast like this. What about 8 inches or more? And that could be possible. We're still working on this snowfall forecast. If that takes place, if we can get 8 inches or more, which is possible if we can reduce the sleet, Last time we had that was a 2-day event back in January of 2019. So we're talking about, 5-6 years here. And then the last time we had a 10-inch one, we would have to really reduce sleet. The sleet would have to be so far south that we are just pure snow throughout this event, and we keep the moist air in place to just be pure snow for several hours. It's possible. We're still working on this. The last time we had 10 inches or more in a single event was a 1-day event back in March of 2018. So, Chuck, it's been a while since we've had a good snow like this.
But all those 3 days have in common.
What?
I worked every one of them.
I bet you did. You remember them.
I remember them very well. Hey, folks, not only do we have snow coming up, but we have really bitter cold. And we want to take a look at that right now, too, because the jet stream, that river of air that separates warm and cold, this is Arctic air, not just from the Hudson Bay area of Canada, but truly from the Arctic Circle. And really, there are no systems in between here or there blocking it. So look what happens during the next 3 days. Saturday, the cold air filters into more of the central United States, including Indiana, and it will stay with us now for several days. The average high this time of year, in case you're wondering, is 37. We have seen the last of that for a while, at least a week and perhaps even 2 weeks. So we heard from Matt about Sunday. What's going to happen Monday? Well, Monday's a really big day because we have so many school districts around the state that are going back to school and folks who have been on winter Christmas vacation who are going back to work. Well, we may have a problem with that. Not only will it be unseasonably cold on Monday, but we are expecting numerous school delays. The reason for that, not just the ice and sleet that could be underneath some of this, and that does serve like ball bearings when you have snow on top, but because of the snow itself. 6 to 8 inches is possible in some spots. We're generally calling for 4 to 7 inches. That will be the general look at that. And so that's going to create some problems, and the problem too with snow-covered roads around. Let me tell you how to prepare for this right now. If you have salt, I would tomorrow just go ahead and lay it out on your sidewalk and then on your driveway, because surely you're going to need it. All right, let's take a look at this forecast, beginning really with tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow off at 15 degrees, eventually working our way to 25. That is it for a high. That is 12 degrees below average. Now, we're expecting these computer models to change somewhat, so you need to keep watching us on our forecasts on WTHR and on 13 Plus, as well as WTHR.com. We'll have some running blogs with Matt and Lindsay beginning tomorrow. But by Sunday, a weather impact alert, heavy snow, and again, that sleet. This could occur certainly during the Colts game against Jacksonville. If you're a tailgater, get there early and prepare for it. If you're headed off to church early, be prepared that it may be snowing harder when you get out of church. And then Monday, lingering flurries, 27. I do anticipate some school delays. I don't think every school will be delayed on Monday, but there will be many, believe me. And then down we go. This is the coldest air of this Arctic season. 6 degrees Wednesday morning, 1 degree on Thursday morning, and with that, we're going to experience below zero wind chill. So we do have the coldest core of air starting to move in here. Again, a weather impact alert day on Sunday. Keep it here on 13 Plus throughout the weekend. Watch our newscasts on Channel 13, and of course, at WTHR.com, we'll be updating everything for you. Thanks for watching. Have a safe and very productive weekend.